The dumbfounded face you are looking at on your computer screen right now, other than mine, of course, is Jussi Halla-aho. Jussi Halla-aho. He is a member of parliament for the Finns party, and he is a total and complete douchebag who has no clue, just like the rest of the Finns party. Just like the leader of the Finns party. Oh, here it is. Oh, yeah. Another example of the bitter ugliness and racism that exists within one's gut coming up to the surface and just exploding all over their face. Rika purra. And the reason I am bringing these people up here, especially Halla-aho, is not only are they completely full of shit, but they're now the number 2 in this government, and it looks more and more every day like the new coalition government is going to be the Christian fucking Democrats. Where the fuck did they come from? Oh my god. So socially conservative, fiscally conservative, just the worst. Probably the second worst party behind the Finns party, I would say. And then you got the Swedish People's Party, which is interesting to me because a lot of people in the Finns party don't give a shit about the Swedish language. They don't give a shit about Swedish people in Finland or any of their issues or concerns. Because they're bigots, of course, because they're nationalists. They don't care about things that, like me, they don't give a fuck about me or my problems, because I'm from America, you know? And then you have the NCP, the National Coalition Party, and these douchebags, the Finn Party. And NCP is just your standard center. Let's give all of the rich tax cuts and put the burden on the backs of the poor and try to make it seem palatable and noble. Sisu, right? Yeah, no. But anyway, that's what the new government is going to look like. The coalition of the damned. The coalition of the contemptible. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. And for a country with such a low birth rate, it's almost a guarantee they are going to cut from childcare, which is not a good thing at all. Because, you're not really incentivizing people to have kids to prop up your economy in the future if you're raising the cost of childcare. But, they don't care. As long as their criminal corporate buddies get tax breaks, everyone is happy. I want to talk about Jussi Halla-aho's Mayday comments. And I want to home in on a couple of things he said that are just complete and utter bullshit. So basically just a Finns party member opening their mouth. I hope and believe that Finland will now take a step back towards a normal Western democracy and a step away from the North Korean political culture, where the rulers are raised as larger-than-life cult figures beyond criticism. And I'm sure he's referring specifically to Sanna Marin, the rock star prime minister. He is probably just upset that nobody outside of his own little cult of racist assholes will ever put him on a pedestal. I mean, again, dude, you ain't gonna be on billboards. Sorry, but it may hurt him that Sanna Marin was well-liked and likable. She was a likable politician, and they couldn't bring her down. Well, I mean, yeah, they won in the elections, but they couldn't bring her down with all the party stuff and trying to shame her for having a good time like any other human being. But it's funny he says that, because the Finns party and other center-right or right-wing parties, you are the ones who made Sanna Marin or added to the mystique around her when you made such a big deal about her partying. And by the way, might I say, Mr. Halla-asshole, as somebody who comes from the United States, where politics are just the biggest circus on the face of the earth, seeing the way your politics are conducted here and the way that your politicians, your members of parliament, can just mingle, maybe that will change, because with right-wing governments comes a lot of contempt from the people, and, rightfully so. But, yeah. Generally speaking, like when I moved here and I heard that members of parliament just go out and have dinner with their family and people generally leave them alone, that ain't happening in the United States. You want that Western shit so badly? Go move there. And you filthy fucking animal. Oh my God. How can you even... So you have one example of a politician being, and I guess, what is it? I can't remember the name of the prime minister, the Conan O'Brien prime minister, but she was also kind of put or elevated on the international stage for her resemblance to Conan O'Brien. But, these things are typically good things, but not for Jussi because they don't like fun, and they don't like people who have fun because they're not fun. Again, does this look like a fun-loving guy to you? Does this look like a woman who likes to cut loose and have fun? No. And neither do the Christian Democrats. In fact, I'm pretty sure they still wear their chastity belts. But to say that Finnish politicians are being raised to these larger-than-life cult figures, and you only have the one example, is just fucking hilarious and entirely emblematic of how full of shit these people are and how they're going to ruin this country if you give them enough leeway. This one was also fun. Halla-aho says that Finland chronically lives beyond its means. According to him, public spending has been ripped off the backs of the workers. According to Halla-aho, all unnecessary expenditure must be cut from the public finances in the coming election period. This is a guy who thinks that Social Security and unemployment insurance are luxury things for any economy. He calls them luxury items. I don't know the exact terminology he used, but he sees these things as luxuries that should be made harder and harder and harder for people to get. You ask your average Finn. They already have difficulties with Kela as it is, and you want to make it even harder? Again, how do working class people fall for people like this? How do you fall for the NCP? How do you fall for the Christian Democrats, and like this guy and this fucking let's get all the immigrants out, give them no help, no asylum, no money, no nothing, fuck them all nationalism bullshit, which by the way, they still don't have policies beyond their immigration policy. And you voted for them to be number 2 because you fell for the nationalism and the populism and the bullshit that the immigrants are the ones making trouble for your country, when you've got all these corporations that made money hand over fist during the pandemic and didn't pay any of it back into the communities of this country. And you're seeing the results of that as poverty deepens in this country, as the wage gap the wealth gap deepens in this country. It's just really tone-deaf language from a really ignorant politician. Public spending being ripped off the backs of the workers. Their benefits have been getting cut. You've had nurses striking over and over and over again because their working conditions are so shit and their pay is so shit that you had to force them to go back to work. You had to pass a fucking mandate within your government to say, nope, you can't resign, go back to work. Come on, dude. Come on. So to say that, that you give a shit about the workers, but you think that unemployment insurance and welfare and Social Security are these things that should be, even harder to grasp for, should never be given to any immigrants, and are luxury items within a society? Dude, who the fuck are you trying to... Apparently, you were able to fool enough people into weaseling and worming your way into number 2 in the Finnish government. You can only hope that there's a vote of no confidence and everything just... Which might happen because these people aren't going to compromise, right? The Finns party isn't going to compromise. NCP and the other parties, they do not have nearly as much of a hard-ass stance on immigration as the Finns party. And, another thing that right-wingers do not do is compromise, unless it's like the bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, 2 strikes, and, you're 1 run down and you got a runner on 2nd and 3rd. They just don't. They wait until shit gets really bad, blame the left, blame the immigrants, blame everybody else but themselves. This is right-wing politics 101, and this is what you voted for, Finland. This is what you voted for. And he even says, the basic Finns are ready to compromise on an immigration policy up to a certain point. I'm sure that certain point is not at all. And this is probably why there will be... You see, in the Finnish government, Within the cabinet, if there is any disagreement, then the cabinet has to. It's what happened to Antti Rinne in 2015. Nope. It was actually this guy, Juha Sipilä, the onion guy, as I call. And it was 2019. He could not get welfare reform passed, so he stepped aside. The government dissolved, and they rebuilt to try again. And that's something that I do admire about this particular form of government, is that your politicians, whether it's humility or whether it's just because it's written in the law, they will step aside and not have to wait. The country won't have to wait 4 years like they do in the United States for a more effective government to come in and try to get things done. This kind of humility just does not exist in the United States. Politicians, especially people in Congress, will stay there for decades and get absolutely nothing done and fuck everybody over and, not care because they're getting their $200,000 per year plus whatever they're getting from lobbyists, of course. So it is very much something to aspire to, this form of government, I would say. Yeah, so it's not that I'm actively rooting for them to fail, but if they do, I mean, come on, will any of us be surprised? And if you cut from childcare in a country that's got a birth rate in the goddamn toilet and no signs of speeding up, absolutely no signs of speeding up, you're just gonna make that burden even harder or bigger for prospective parents to shoulder, right? Why would a couple who's already struggling to make ends meet want to have a kid, and now you're taking away more of their childcare benefit? It's like, these people don't get it. They only care about immigration because that's like the problem for everything, and it's not. You need to critically think. This guy's he's an academic. He's not a moron. Jussi Halla-aho. He's not a moron, but he acts like one to get votes. So, what else? Was there anything else I could... bitter criticism to the left-wing parties, the policies of the last government, and the traditional right in the media. Yeah. May Day is a celebration of work. The traditional labor movement, both in politics and on the... it's bad translation, has failed the working population. No, people like you fail the working population. When you take away their benefits, make them work harder to get even less. That's what he wants. People like Halla-aho, like a 1930s fascist, Work harder, it's noble. Work harder, you stupid fucking... Work harder. That's what it's about with people like this. Work harder for less and less and less. The government should be hands off when it comes to providing for you. You provide for yourself, you stupid voting public... That is also a hallmark of just the right in general. It's like there's way too much emphasis on hard work and not enough emphasis on making life easier for those who are doing all the hard work to prop up the economy, to prop up just the country, the people who are doing all the work, while the people who do none of the work just sit on their fat asses and look down and laugh while they count their fucking money, like they're doing right now. And like they're going to be doing even more in the future if these people have their way, if NCP has their way, if the Christian Democrats, I still cannot believe the Christian Democrats are going to be a part of the coalition government. And it's like, how are they going to be able to compromise on social things? I don't know. But it seems to me that across the board, you've got a neoliberal attitude, a neoliberal mindset, and that's never good for the working class. I just wish that these people, if you want to be like a traditional Western democracy, actually no, that wouldn't work. Never mind to that. So here you go. This is all I really wanted to talk about with this video, because this is speeches like this. He's trying to speak directly to people who feel like the future in this country is in question, and filling them up with all this hope and saying that hard work will set you free, but, and I got nothing against hard work. Hard work is cool, but I'm just saying that should not be the only thing a member of your society has to look forward to when they turn 18, But again, this guy sees Social Security and welfare as a luxury in society. So, oh boy. if this speech is any indication, then Finland's got some really rough times ahead. People can find understanding even for painful spending cuts, even if they don't have to watch at the same time how public funds are sadly shoveled into various black holes that have nothing to do with the basic tasks. Again, you don't fucking want to prop up the basic tasks of society. You don't care about them. They're just these leisurely things. Social Security, oh my God. Wow, what, do you want a mansion too? What, do you want a couple Ferraris with your Social Security and all of your entitlements too? I mean, come on, just go fuck yourself. Have a good day, folks.